Okay, so Barbara, we are live on Linda School Facebook page today for our last, please note, last interview on the Linda School Throwback series, which has been extremely inspiring. And I really thank you, Barbara, for accepting this invitation as an ex-Linda School student to come and share your inspiration with us. It has actually taken a few months for Barbara to be able to be here because her schedule was so fully booked. So, I mean, it's a real honor. Isn't
True.
it true, Barbara? You
Yeah.
had a booked schedule. Okay, so really, it's an honor to have you here. And this being our last interview, we will make it really worth your while if you're watching wherever you are. Thank you for being there as well. So, Barbara, please introduce yourself briefly so that our viewers can get acquainted with you. And let's begin this beautiful show.
Okay. Well, my name is Bárbara. I'm 22 years old. I'm currently living in Lisbon, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing 2 degrees, one in management and one in statistics. And
Mm.
so far, that's it.
Okay, I remember finding you in a train
Yeah.
when you were in your first year, and when you told me you were doing 2 degrees now, who does 2 degrees at once? I was like, oh, amazing! And at that time, it was the Web Summit
Mm.
was coming up, and you had applied as a volunteer, and you were going to be a volunteer there that exact weekend. And I was so surprised. I don't think I've ever spoken to someone who is doing 2 degrees at once. So congratulations, Barbara. That must have required so much courage. Wow, or craziness. I don't know, one thing or another. Can you share how you came up with this
Um,
inspiration?
well, it wasn't on purpose. The opportunity just rose, and I just took it. Because
Wow.
management is a sort of a mainstream degree. A lot of people go to management.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about my future, and I thought, oh, maybe if I have 2 degrees, especially one in statistics, I can stand out in the future, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
took it. Yeah.
Wow, so statistics seems to me, well, because I don't have that much of a mathematics brain, as a really hard degree to do. What are you finding it like? Are you enjoying it?
Uh, um, well, I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it, but I appreciate it. You know what I'm
Mm, yes.
saying? Because it's really, really, really hard because it
Mm,
combines mathematics with computer science. Not only
mm.
have to be good at math and be able to analyze a lot of data, but I also have to be able to do it in programs. So
Wow.
learning, yes, it's sort of complicated. But the part that I appreciate is that I'm learning the basics for everything I want to do. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
general
So it
degree.
sort of fits in really well with your management
Yeah,
degree.
yeah,
Okay. And I saw that you intend to go into a master's.
yes.
In
In
what?
business intelligence or
Mm.
marketing, because in this year I'm having a marketing class, and I really
Mm.
enjoy marketing. So I don't know.
Okay. Wow, you seem to be really sort of preparing yourself to be a high-flying entrepreneur or businesswoman. That is just so outgoing. But I do know that so far it has been a challenge for you to come into public speaking. So the fact that you accepted this interview is also part of that, right? So
Yeah.
how has it been, this experience of having to go past and beyond that difficulty that you found you had?
Well, this I never really had to do presentations, but starting this semester, all of my subjects require a lot of presentations weekly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to, at first, I was very, very nervous and I memorized all of the text that I had to say. But then I think just memorizing topics and then from that develop it, it's way better. So that's how I've been trying to overcome this fear, because for me it's fear of like making mistakes.
Exposure.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And in what way has this sort of gradual overcoming of that fear served you?
It helped me make friends, actually, because I'm scared of public speaking. I'm also scared of approaching new people.
Mm-hmm.
So having to deal with this anxiety helped me approach my colleagues and be like, hey, I'm Barbara, nice to meet you. So so
Yeah.
far that's it.
Good, good. So it's opening up also new avenues of expression, not only during the presentations.
Yes.
And so you were a student at Linda's school. Do you remember how many years ago?
I think I was a student for 8 years total, I
Yeah,
think.
and you left Linda's school at about what, 3, 4 years ago, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And of course, you were there to learn good English because that's what we teach, obviously. So you had to be at Linda School. But
That's
my
true.
question is, in what way? So you didn't go abroad like some other of our students. You stayed in Portugal, but you have had to use your English on a very frequent basis, right?
Yes. My management degree is all in English. It's
Mm.
because it was made for students to go abroad automatically,
Mm-hmm.
to go work
Mm-hmm.
abroad, not to stay in
Okay.
Portugal.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and I even in January I'm going to New York if the pandemic allows, because my
Mm-hmm.
management degree has a mandatory semester abroad. But Linda School, actually, before I enroll in Linda School, I was so terrible at English, just
Mm.
so bad at English.
Who would
Then
say? Seems impossible now.
yeah, but and I even disliked, because when you are not good at something but you don't
Yeah,
understand why, I also
yeah.
disliked it. But with Linda School, I was able to not only improve my English but
Mm-hmm.
uh, enjoy the language as well.
Good. Oh,
Yes,
so we did do a good job then.
yes, good job.
I also enjoyed when you came into my grade, so which was towards the end. I was also very happy to have you in my class, Barbara, because you were always also interactive. And though you say you're shy, it didn't seem that much. So it was a pleasure to have you at the school as well. And were there any other skills that you sort of managed to bring with you? Because you were part of some of our projects as well. That we've had some projects going on at Linda School. One of them, weren't you on the one that we painted the walls in our school? I think I'm not sure if you were, or the translation of a book or something. I'm
Uh,
not sure.
no, I did attend two speakers. You brought someone that
Yeah.
wrote a book. I went to
I
that
know,
one.
yeah, I know you were doing some things with us. Anyway, did you bring any other skills other than improving your English?
Yes, for sure. Well, it's pretty interesting because in August I took the ILS test
Mm-hmm.
and I applied the same structure that I learned in Linda School to study
Mm-hmm.
for that exam because I had to study it alone.
Right.
Uh, so I think I learned how to study for a language
Mm-hmm.
because it requires, okay, I have to study for the reading and the grammar and the vocabulary and all of
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And I learned that it's okay to make mistakes because I came from schools that I was very scared of making, like putting my hand up. But
Mm-hmm.
in order I think it was very positive and encouraging. So
Mm. Okay. So it helped you to realize that maybe even things you don't like
Yes.
can become things that you do like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. That's a good thing to bring into real everyday life because it does keep on serving you. So so please tell me, how has this experience of doing 2 degrees at once been for you? You're in your last year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, well, uh, it has been just a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really say anything special because the degrees are not made to be done at two at the same time. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, of course.
I had to learn the risk and opportunity. If I
Mm.
study for this subject, I won't be able to study for this one because the tests usually were in the same dates.
Oh boy.
So I had to choose. Okay, do I go to this one and do my best at this one, then next year or whatever? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. That's been a headache. I hope it pays off in the future.
So
But
sort of you're managing to do it in what, 4 years maybe?
yeah, I
Yeah.
will be done now. Yeah. Yes.
That's just amazing, really. I mean, what other skills have you had to develop in order to be able to juggle all those plates at once?
I think learning how to read fast,
Mm,
uh, be able to skim through a test and pick up keywords. I think that's a
mm,
good skill to have, And what's very interesting about the brain, especially, it's when I'm very stressed and close to a
mm-hmm,
test, I pick
mm,
up more than if I studied for like 2 weeks before, because the
mm-hmm,
brain's like, okay, I need to study, and the brain's okay, this is what's important, this. So I learned how to summarize well.
mm-hmm.
um, it's I mean, I learned a lot of things, but it's very specific, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
really.
of course, of course. I mean, the skills that have helped you sort of come through this huge challenge that you chose to embark in.
I think not giving up, perseverance,
Mm,
because sometimes
yeah,
it's easier to give up, or
yeah.
when things get too complicated, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to just stop yourself from giving up.
Yeah. I'm
And
sure you must have felt overwhelmed sometimes during this time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I had questions. What am I doing? if it,
Yeah.
if it's right, and
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
questioning
But
myself.
but probably you're sure that somehow it is whatever you come to do in the future, it has served you in many different ways, or are you're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Though you're still in the middle of the storm, so it's sort of a little bit
Yes.
challenging
That's very
to have a clear vision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that. But you are, we could say you are a success story. I mean, because you're in your last year and managing to have juggled all of that stuff. Some people take longer to just go through one. I mean, it's really amazing. And still, you have worked during your holidays as well.
Yes. I
Whoa.
Yeah. And I was you mentioned Web Summit. It was a pity because I was able to be in the staff
Mm-hmm.
because I went repeatedly. That was
Yeah.
a project that I really enjoyed, Web Summit.
So
But
this year you couldn't be there, right? Yeah.
they're doing online. Oh well.
But you did enjoy the experience, right? What did you get from that experience?
I enjoyed applying my English actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and running an event, it's so interesting because there's so many moving parts. You just
Mm-hmm.
see the finished product, you don't see the
Yeah.
behind the scenes. And I really
Yeah.
enjoyed I was quite fascinated the amount of planning, and things go wrong, and then I would see my team leader be like, oh, what am I going to do now? And she had to come up with the solution right in that spot. So
Yeah.
it was a very crazy experience that I really enjoyed. Yep.
Good, good. Yeah, organizing an event is really a huge thing, and
Yeah.
it takes a long time to come out properly. That's true. So I usually ask a question here, which is if you were to share with other children and youngsters what they can do to make their dreams come true, to achieve their aims, what would you recommend? What would you share?
Um, I would say to visualize yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Just visualize yourself becoming the person that you want to become, or do
Mm-hmm.
the activity that you want to do. And
Yeah.
besides that, always be in a state of learning
Mm.
whatever it is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because maybe during that learning experience, you can find out things about yourself that you didn't know that may help
Mm-hmm.
you, see clear the path that you need to take. Because not everyone is
Okay.
equal, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, everyone is unique. So sometimes you might think at a younger age that you want to do or be something, and then you discover something else.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great, great advice, Barbara. What about things that you do that I suppose you do that yourself, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sort of, what is the feeling when you actually achieve something you have dreamed you wanted to?
Well, I don't really have any achievement that I dreamed crazy about, but
Hmm.
I can say the feeling of winning something, maybe. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Especially because for me, I see winning when I pass a subject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
uh,
instance, that's a name.
yes, especially those that are just a headache,
Mm-hmm.
very complicated, and I see the
Yeah.
I passed. Um, it's almost a validation that I can do something. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you feel, okay, I was able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm strong. I can do this. You know,
Yeah.
even but even when I fail, I had to learn to understand, okay, maybe I failed, but in the future this learning curve might
Mm-hmm.
be helpful, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I see winning both ways. I think winning can be subjective, you know.
Yeah, very, very, exactly. It can be very subjective, and it doesn't have to be in a competitive kind of way
Hmm.
either. It is with yourself, basically. Yeah. And so at this point, so you're almost at the end of your 2 degrees, and still willing to do one master. Is it one or two?
One.
One, okay. One master's. Um, do you believe that what you chose to study so far is really fulfilling?
Well, for me, since I was a kid, I wanted to be in business, and I
Hmm.
enjoyed watching movies related to business. So
Okay.
in a sense, it is fulfilling for me because I'm like, oh, okay, maybe in the future I can be those things that I aspire to be, you know, those
Yeah.
actors that play those roles,
Yeah.
and CEOs that I follow, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
so it has actually been a dream that you have been looking at for a long time.
yes,
Good. Wow. Didn't know about that. That's great that you are managing to get further, one step further on that ladder of what you aspire to sort of become, in a sense.
yes,
Basically, you are becoming that each day,
yes,
with each moment, each thing you learn, each new victory, and each new failure as well. I would like to ask you, How do you deal with failure?
Failure for me was a concept that I had to learn actually during college, because
Hmm.
I was sort of used to winning always. I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
competitive type of person, but
Mm-hmm.
I when I apply, I can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But having to fail, and I failed a couple subjects, I had
Mm-hmm.
to do those things. For me, uh, I just had to look at, it's done. I failed. Okay, now how can I learn from this? Like, why did I fail? Understand
Mm-hmm.
why, or what should I have done better
Mm-hmm.
to avoid failing? And
Mm-hmm.
I had to reflect, sit down and reflect on why. And different subjects or different actions or situations require
Yeah.
different solutions. Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
I feel right now.
Yeah. Good. Right. So you didn't sort of get lost in self-criticism.
I did in the first year,
Hmm.
because I came into this and I didn't know how hard it was to do 1 degree minus doing 2 degrees. So what
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
expecting was different from what I got.
Fortunately, otherwise you wouldn't have gone into this challenge and
That's
wouldn't
true.
have the chances you are opening up for yourself.
That's true. Yeah.
Do you realize that the fact that you chose to do 2 degrees at once also speaks about you?
Hmm.
Whenever like you will apply for a job within the field you intend, that also speaks about you.
Yes, I think so.
So
Yeah.
that in itself shows things like confidence, resilience, perseverance, dealing with failure, because everyone has to learn how to deal with failure. That's why I asked, because
Yes.
nothing is always successful. Basically, that's the way it is. And in a sense, there is a success in failure.
Yes, I think so. If we should look that way.
Yeah.
No, don't
Yeah.
don't be stuck in the negativity part of
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you've sort of grown into a more mature young lady that is looking at things from a new perspective, um, is there, like, we're sort of coming to an end? Is there something like a message that you'd like to leave to other youngsters, that could serve them as well to sort of embrace their challenges and deal with the unexpected, as you said?
Um, just keep on going. I think sometimes feeling lost is okay. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to understand that feeling lost, it's normal. Everyone is lost as well. You're not
Mm-hmm.
alone. You know, people get stuck in their own heads and be like, "Oh, I'm the only one failing, or the only one that doesn't know what I want to do or what to become." But everyone is the same. And
Mm-hmm.
my advice is just to don't stop learning. That's it.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
always be curious.
Mm-hmm. Good. No matter what experience comes your way, use it as a learning
Yes,
stepping stone.
yes.
Great. This has been very interesting, Barbara. Thank you for sharing your inspiration with us.
Thank you.
And in the future, who knows, we might interview you, and who knows where you're going to be, uh, and what you're going to be doing at that time. But for now, it is really amazing what you've chosen to do.
Thank you.
And I'd really like you to acknowledge that we, someone else looking at that says, wow, that's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And to all of our viewers, thank you for being with us throughout these months that we've started these interviews a few months ago, and it has been a pleasure. And now we're gonna have a pause. Who knows if we're gonna begin later on at a later date, maybe when the weather gets warmer again and the days longer and people have a bit more time for these things. I mean, my interviewees now, because now people are at school and at work and all of those things, and then the schedule is too tight, and then they have to study and they have to do all sorts of things. So yeah, the summertime is a bit more inviting for this kind of interaction. Though Barbara was busy, 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 busy.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. And see you around, Barbara. Wish you all the very, very best.
Wish
Thank
you as
you.
well for the best
Thank
you
you.
have. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye. Thank you all. Bye.